Hey people, we're kicking off the new year looking at the G1 Sniper Z170 ATX motherboard from Gigabyte. Here is the box, which unfortunately got a bit damaged in transit it seems, but everything inside is okay at least. Around the back it details some of the new features such as DDR4 memory support, USB 3.1 and Type-C, and the M.2 32 gigabit per second SSD storage. Let's take a look inside then. On the top we have the motherboard itself in an anti-static bag. We'll just put that to the side for the second and have a quick look at the accessories. First up we have these Gigabyte G1 gaming Velcro ties, 2 of them, maybe useful. We have the G connector that's used to make connecting the front panel header etc. a little less fiddly. A nice black SLI bridge for up to 2 Nvidia GPUs together. Note that Crossfire from AMD no longer requires a bridge at all. 2 packs of SATA cables with 2 right angles and 2 straight connectors. A G1 gaming sticker. The rear I/O shield of course. Some stickers for labeling up your various cables if you're into that sort of thing. The multilingual installation guide. The driver's disc, which we'll just throw away. We have the user manual, which is actually of use, and something else that's not in English. So the motherboard itself. Gigabyte have chosen to bring back the green and black colour scheme after dropping it from its Z97 lineup. If I'm honest, that was a big part of me selecting this board for my new personal rig. It features the new Z170 chipset along with the new socket 1151 for all new Skylake CPUs. Yes, that's just 1 pin more than previous Haswell boards, which you may find a bit annoying, but I'm reliably informed it's due to changes in technology making it difficult for previous generation CPUs to be compatible with all the new features without a lot of extra work. Apparently. Allegedly. It's worth noting the CPU socket in this board is gold plated to avoid corrosion etc, so you can take your CPU out and put it in as many times as you like. While we're around that area, this board features a 7-phase power design, which is the same incidentally as the Gaming 3 Z170 motherboard that shares a lot of components with this one it seems. So as far as overclocking potential, this isn't going to be the best of the best by any means, something that is evident by a total lack of any marketing material geared towards overclocking besides the inclusion of the onboard turbo B-clock tuning IC that allows users to adjust the base clock frequency to whatever value they like between 90 and 500 MHz, rather than being limited by the normal 5% straps. To clarify though, this is sort of a lower mid-range-ish board, and while overclocking isn't its focus, it will still easily be able to hit the 4.5 GHz area of a capable chip, like most Skylake unlocked parts seem to be capable of. New for this generation is DDR4 memory support to bring the mainstream platform in line with the X99 Enthusiast one, although Skylake only supports dual channel RAM rather than the quad channel for Haswell E. One side note here is that memory that retailers list as quad channel for X99 is just marketing nonsense. The RAM is exactly the same, so if you have 4 DIMMs it will work fine in dual channel, no problem. This motherboard has support for up to 64 GB of RAM at up to 3466 MHz speed overclocked, or 2133 MHz being the standard speed. Expansion slot wise we have 1 PCIe X16 slot, 1 PCIe X16 slot running at X8. This shares bandwidth with the first X16 slot, so if they're both occupied they will both run at X8. There's a further PCIe X16 slot that runs at X4 that shares its bandwidth with the PCIe X1 slot that's next to the BIOS battery there, and this will run at X1 if both are being used. There's another PCIe X1 slot at the top too. Incidentally, I use this for my Wi-Fi network card, which I upgraded recently for absolutely no reason, as it turns out my crappy router is the bottleneck. There's also 2 PCI slots that someone somewhere may still have a use for. To clarify, that's basically 3 PCIe X16 slots, 2 PCIe X1 slots and 2 PCI slots. These are all of course the PCIe 3.0 standard. Dual SLI is supported for Nvidia cards and 3-way crossfire for AMD. This is due to Nvidia's insistence that their cards use X8 minimum, whereas AMD are happy to have theirs run in X8, X8, X4. So storage connectivity, first off we have one M.2 socket 3 connector supporting type 2242, 2260 and 2280, which incidentally are the lengths of the drives in case anyone is wondering, and up to 32 gigabits per second speeds in theory. It supports SATA and PCIe X4, 2 and 1 SSDs. Note that if you do use a SATA M.2 SSD, the first SATA port, they label it as port 0, will be disabled. And talking of SATA ports, this board has 3 SATA Express ports capable of speeds of up to 16 gigabits per second, if you can find anything that actually supports it, or 6 regular SATA 3 6 gigabit per second ones. This board supports RAID 0, 1, 5 and 10. Let's take a look at the rear I/O. We have 2 USB 2.0 ports, along with a PS2 combo jack, VGA and DVI inputs, USB Type-C and USB 3.1 Gen 2, both capable of 10 gigabits per second with a regular USB 3.0 situated above, HDMI input, an Intel Gigabit NIC, something I prefer over the gaming-centric killer ones, 2 more USB 3.0 ports, and your standard audio output. Personally, I find only 6 USB ports a bit too few for a full-size ATX motherboard, with the Type-C port not really having much relevance for me personally as yet. The USB 3.1 and Type-C ports are controlled by the ASM 1142 AS Media chip here. As far as connectors go, along the bottom of the board we have front panel audio input, a COM port, parallel port, TPM Trusted Platform Module, 2 USB 2.0 headers, the second system fan header, and the front panel connector socket. Just above we have Gigabyte's apparently patented dual BIOS chips and the clear CMOS. Going along we have the previously mentioned SATA ports, 2 USB 3.0 headers, the 24-pin power connection, and the third system fan header. Along the back we can see the CPU fan header as well as the CPU Opt 1 for water pumps. The 8-pin power connector is in its usual place in the back corner behind the USB/PS2 sockets here. And the final system fan is located here between the audio jacks and the M.2 slot, meaning there is a good coverage of fan headers across the board. Which finally brings us on to the audio. This board uses the Realtek ALC 1150 codec, like pretty much every single other motherboard in this price range. It has a green tracer for the segregation of the audio components, as seen on the previous generation Z170 boards that can now be modified to pulse with your music or breathe or something like that in Gigabyte's App Software Center. It should be noted there is no super special audio software like the Sound Blaster X5 that comes with some of the other Gigabyte boards. Gigabyte do include a full suite of software for this motherboard via their App Center, but seeing as I've not had much hands-on experience of it yet, I'll not really go into it here. I'll try it, and if I do like it, I will make a separate video about it at a later date. Okay, I think that's all for now. Thank you for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it, leave me a comment below if there's something I've left out or something I've missed or just whatever you want to say. Hit that subscribe button for more tech related videos. Check out our affiliate code for TorVPN if you like being safe online. I do use them myself, I wouldn't recommend them if I didn't. Just saying. Or for Amazon if you're not already supporting a different channel with them. Thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next one.